Hello, and welcome to the Looking Place podcast, where we seek to guide our listeners through a journey of discovering your intrinsic power. I'm T.
And I'm Mel.
So we are going to bypass all of the intro. We have tried to record this video, y'all, 3 times. This is
Yeah,
round number 3. Gotta
yeah,
love technology.
yeah.
So we're gonna bypass all. We're not gonna try to recapture what we said, what we had said, but we'll just pick up where we left off. And so for anybody joining the conversation at this time, this is the appointed time for you. Then I ask that you just open your heart and put down the mind for a moment. And that's exactly what we were kind of leaving off at, is how
Mhm.
to put down the mind, how to keep the mind in the place of the employee and not the boss. Okay.
Mm, I love it.
And so where the video just disconnected, I was talking about my experience with manifesting. And
Mm-hmm.
so manifesting is one of those popular terms now, kind of like woke. We all want to be
Yeah.
woke and manifesting. And
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
for a period of time in my spiritual journey, I had gotten really, I found a lot of resonance and connection with the pointings of Abraham Hicks, which is all about manifesting for anybody who knows Abraham Hicks. Pointings and teachings were very valuable to my experience at that time. And I'd gotten to this place where I was just manifesting all over the place. You could tell me nothing. I was a
Yeah.
manifesting machine, okay? I was invincible. I'm living my best life. I'm like, yes, I have figured it out, God. I know how this all works now. I could think about something and literally, like, no exaggeration, I could think of something. It would manifest into my experience. And
Mm-hmm.
so through the point it was Abraham Hicks, I really started to tap into that manifesting power.
Mm-hmm.
Riding high, not a cloud in the sky. I had a good run, a good couple years where life was almost perfection. I think at one time I literally told someone, my life feels perfect. I feel
Mm.
invincible. And I
Wow.
had not had that experience ever because we talked earlier in our other video about how I was so afraid to be happy. And now I'm
Mm-hmm.
at this
Mm-hmm.
point where I feel like can't nothing stop my happiness because I'm a
Mm-hmm.
manifesting something. Okay. I am God's favorite right now. Can't tell me
I
nothing.
love it.
And had an experience where I had a pretty significant car accident. Obviously, I'm
Yeah.
still here and I'm fine, but in the moment, it felt very impactful and traumatic. Injury to my body, car total, going through with the insurance agency, just the whole rigmarole. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember thinking, kind of in the early stages of going through that experience, oh my God, I didn't manifest this.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Mm-hmm.
dare. What the?
Absolutely.
What? Nothing about my energy has pointed me in the direction of this. I didn't ask for this. And I was so like tight. Like I was annoyed by the fact that life happened because I didn't
Mm-hmm.
manifest
Mm-hmm.
this. I only manifest goodness and perfection. Like what is
Mm-hmm.
going on? And that was a part of the process because in that experience, I realized, and we talked earlier in the other video about
Mm-hmm.
how cunning the ego is. And
Yeah.
ego is
Yes.
not just
Yes.
this, that is a negative, cocky, braggadocious. It's not just that. Ego can quite cunningly be disguised as a spiritual person. So,
Mm-hmm.
in my manifesting and my identification of a manifester and a
Mm-hmm.
spiritual being, I had still given it to my mind and I didn't
Mm-hmm.
realize that. I was still
Mm-hmm.
giving it to the mind and I was
Oh
still
God.
allowing the mind to paint
Mm-hmm.
for me what my experience and my reality was. And
Mm-hmm.
so going through that process at that time with the accident and recovering from the injury and going through the issue, there came a point kind of in the thick of it before any
Mm-hmm.
resolution had come. And I said, okay, God, I'm just tired. Now I just want my
Yeah.
peace back. I don't even
Yeah.
care how any of this works out. Now I just want my peace back because by that time I had, like I said, I had been riding high for a couple of years in this peaceful state of just total zen. And I was like, I don't even care what happens with insurance card, nothing. I just want my peace back, God. I had it
Mm-hmm.
before. I want it back. What do I
Mm-hmm.
got? I'm almost negotiated. What I got to do to get my
Yeah.
peace?
To get it back.
And I remember I was standing in my garage,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when it hit me. Have it now. What you waiting for? It's here. It never left
Mm.
you. You
Wow.
never left you. You got distracted. The
Mm.
peace, the stillness, the God, the whatever label, it never left. Can't leave.
Mhm.
There's
Mm.
nowhere for it to go.
Mhm.
We're talking about source energy, God, the divine, whatever language. This is not born. This can't die.
Mhm.
This has no space. This has no time. This has no form. Never left me.
Mhm.
I just got distracted by the
Just got
mental
distracted.
life thing happening. And when I said to myself in that moment, when I said out loud, I think to myself, or what, I just want my peace,
Mm-hmm.
it just right then and there, right
Just
then
like
and there,
that.
just like that. That came by way of me having already identified where my power was, but
Mm-hmm.
not realizing that by and large, I was still operating from that mind space.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a subtle but such an impactful shift where I said, okay, I'm putting down all of this. I just want my peace. I just want to be that
Mm-hmm.
God energy. And just like that, it's like, okay, this is, and in that moment, I literally, it almost felt like something came off of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I still went through the process with getting everything, taken care of with the accident. But my experience in that moment had shifted so drastically that
Mm-hmm.
because it was going through that situation, it took a couple months to get through it because it was very involved. Every day I was waking up frustrated, annoyed. I'm on the phone. I'm distracted from my actual work because I got to take calls and I got to do this and that. And then in that moment, I said, I just want my peace. It doesn't matter. This is life stuff. It literally does not matter.
Mm.
And
Wow.
in that moment, I experienced nothing but God's peace, even going through the situation. And it worked out how it was going to work out, how it was meant to work out. But
Mm-hmm.
what my takeaway was is that, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm still giving this to my mind, and I am trying to access a space and energy in God that the mind won't get me there.
Mm.
And that's when I was
Yes.
able to identify in that moment. And that was my next step in my conscious evolution, right?
Yeah.
That's how it happened for me.
Okay. Okay. I got that. Um, I think that this is what I want to do. This is something that we can't do in one conversation.
No, no, no,
It's
no.
really that deep and that
Yeah,
intense.
it is.
And so I'd like for us to, for our next podcast, can we continue this discussion? Because
Absolutely.
then we could get even a little deeper
Absolutely.
into the mind because this is very good
I
and
don't know if
it's
you
very
remember,
helpful. Pardon?
God, God had given you this download when you approached me with starting this podcast, and I don't remember our very first one or two discussions about starting this podcast. First of all, I was like, oh, I'm honored that God gave
Mm-hmm.
me to you in the sense of God told me to do this podcast with you. I'm like, me, the person who
Mm-hmm.
has no social media presence, the person
Mm-hmm.
has no technological intel. You sure me? God said me. But
Right.
if God said me, I'm honored and blessed. But I remember saying to you at that time, I was like, Mel, I only have one thing to talk about. I don't have
Mm-hmm.
anything. I'm happy to have a discussion in anything that you want to have a discussion in. But me, I only have one thing to talk about. And this is it. This
Mm-hmm.
is all I have to talk about. Not in the sense I can't have a conversation about anything else, but everything in my experience now all leads back to this. And we
To
can talk
this.
about it in a multitude of different ways. I mean, if you listen to the teachings of Muji, Muji has tons of videos out there, tons of
Mm-hmm.
videos. He's talking about the same thing.
You're right. Yes, yes,
It's the
yes.
same thing.
And I have to say this too is yes, that was a download. Start a podcast because I really wasn't interested in starting a
Right.
podcast, but it was a download and called T. She's going to be your partner. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I do what I'm asked to do, what God
Yes.
asked me to do,
Yes.
but then I just kind of run and hide. I think my
Mm.
mind takes over, and
Okay.
so I think it was clear what we needed to be talking about. But what does Melody do? She goes
Mm.
and she'll find some guests to come on.
Nothing wrong.
You know what I mean? And so it's like I'm hiding. It's like, no, this is not what I had planned. But I had to have that to happen last Friday.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then it's like, we got, yeah, Mel, how about you were supposed to be doing this to begin with?
The grace of God. It is the grace of God, Mel. And I can only, oh my God. I don't even know how to put it into words right now. So I
Mm-hmm.
remember I had a thought And I've enjoyed every conversation that we've had. I truly have. Every conversation, every guest, I've enjoyed it all. I really have. But I remember the last time we talked about what our next topic was going to be. And I think you had mentioned we need to talk about financial wellness or grief or something. Something.
Mhm.
Anyway, long story short, I remember I had a thought process. I was like, yeah, I'm happy to talk about that stuff, but God, I feel like there's really only one. We need to stick to this message. This is there's one message we need to stick to, God. And I didn't want to
Wow.
say that to you because I didn't want to insert myself into whatever God was giving you. So I am a very, and you know this with me by now, I'm a very much go with the flow kind of person. I
Mhm.
am
Mhm.
water. Like at this point in my life, I am going with the flow, not in a way that you can I'm gonna do anything with anybody, but
Right, right,
I'm
right.
very open. And
Right.
so I
Mhm.
remember thinking to myself, I was like, God, I want to talk to Mel about this, but I also don't want to insert myself into whatever God has given her for
Mhm.
this vision of this, what this podcast is
Mhm.
supposed to look like. So I say all of those words to say it is by the grace of God that we are now both on the same page and we did not talk about this. This is not a discussion that we had until this actual moment
Moment.
in time.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Very
this is
true.
what it comes down to, Mel, and this is what I feel so much in my heart is that we collectively as a species, mankind, we are in a shift right now. There is an energetic shift that's happening. And
I
it's not going to
agree.
be everyone's experience. It's not for everyone at this moment. But there is a shift, there's an energetic shift happening where people are coming into the discovery. When we talk about terms like awakening and enlightenment and
Mhm.
your Buddha nature or your Christ consciousness, those are
Mhm.
all words to say the same thing. We are
Say the
coming
same thing.
into a discovery of who we are and why we're here.
Yes. I totally agree.
Yeah.
I totally
So
agree.
I feel
Mm.
like our gift, and
Mhm.
if there is any responsibility, is to abide in this awareness for ourselves and
Mhm.
share it with the world.
Yeah, share it with the world. I really get that. I'm grateful that whatever happened to me last week
I love
happened.
it. No, I love
Yeah,
it. I
just to get
love
back.
it.
Yeah,
I
on
love
this trajectory because we did. We had a specific message. We
Yeah.
sat down, and like I said, then I'll start running from something like, I
I
don't
love
know, but I'm learning just to come back.
I
Just
love
come back.
I love to discuss. And so for anyone who's listening right now, it is going to be that oscillation. It's going to be that pull and tuck. For most of us,
Mhm.
we've only known how to operate in our personhood and in our mental processes. We've only known that. We've been conditioned toward that. If you think about when a child is born, when an infant is born, an infant knows no, an infant is still pure God consciousness. They don't have
Mhm.
language yet. They don't have mental thinking yet. And we regard them as these helpless little. They are pure source God energy in the human form. And
Yeah.
we don't even get to understand what a privilege it is to be able to be in the presence of an infant.
Mhm.
You are literally in the presence of a human being that is pure, unadulterated God spirit. And then
Yes.
when that child is conditioned to say, oh, your name is Alex, or your name is John, or oh, your name is Shatikwa, then we start to develop this ego where it's about I, me, this,
Yeah.
mine. And that's
Yeah.
where we get disconnected. But it is all for the purpose that we come back into the discovery. We are here to remember
Mhm.
that you
Mhm.
and I, it is my highest desire that if anything this podcast does, if anything our words do, is to help people understand we have come in this life to remember.
To
Let
remember who
life
we
do
are.
life.
Yes. 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 So that is
I'm
so
so excited.
wonderful.
I'm so
Yes.
excited. I don't know what I'm excited about.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah. So we'll continue on this topic. This is the topic. This is what people need to hear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because with all the things that I'm going on and just to feel like I'm in a happy place, I'm like,
Okay.
whoa. Yeah.
There's so
So
much that we can expound on this one topic, though. It's always going to come back to this one thing.
to
And
this
there's so
one
many,
thing.
I know that God is going to lead us in so many wonderful discussions, and whether we continue to interview people or bring people in, it is going to be a beautiful, effortless, universally
Mhm.
orchestrated interaction that helps guide people those who have the and that's all you need is the intuition toward it. Grace will
Mm,
take you the rest of the way. I promise you.
right.
If you
Yes.
have the intuition toward this, grace will carry you.
Mm,
Don't have to do anything.
right.
And that's why I said the pointings of Muji have taken the work out for me. And it's not to say
Mm,
that I'm lazy and unproductive. I still do a lot of things. I'm very productive.
mm-hmm.
I still work.
So,
I pay my bills. I got excellent credit. I do all the adulting.
mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, this God energy that I'm connecting to, the real I am, that
Mm.
takes the work.
Woo.
That's effortless.
That's
That's what I want to
that's what I
offer to
like.
people, to step into
Mm-hmm.
their effortless intrinsic power. Know
Mm.
why you're here.
Know why you're here. Yes. 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 Mm. Well, T, we can end on that. Know why you're
Okay.
here.
Yeah.
I love that. Know why you're here. So thank you so much. We'll just
Thank you.
continue
Yes.
conversation. It would had to be an
So,
interview today to get us
okay.
on track.
I know. I love it. Nothing, no wasted words, no wasted effort, no
Yeah,
wasted time. I love it. I
I
love
love
it. For this appointed time. And anyone who's listening, if you
it.
have an intuition toward this, we want to build community within this, right?
Yeah.
And you should never have to compromise your religion, your
Mhm.
belief system in order to be a part of this community. Takes no compromising of who you are.
Yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
so I want to put that out there. We want to build community. We want to hear from you. We want to connect with you. We want to be able to just this universal love, this universal knowing we are all a part of.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wonderful. I love it. Yes. So thank you again.
Oh,
So
thank
grateful.
you.
So
Thank you.
grateful. So,
Yeah, gratitude.
all right, listeners, you've heard it, and we're very grateful and so thankful that you're here
Yes,
and wanting you to be a part of this community. Just to share, you can comment, any questions, comments, yeah, but any of those things we welcome. I want you to consider this your family. Like
yes,
we're all here on a journey and we're all looking and
yeah.
searching and we're on this journey together.
Yes, we
So
are.
thank you. Any
Thank you
last
so much.
words? Steve?
Um, I love you. I love you. I love all of
Love
you
you
out
too.
there. Yes,
Yeah, yes,
yes.
yes, yes. So all right. Thank you again.
Take care. Peace and
Peace,
blessings.
everybody. Peace.